Hello everyone. Colquitt, Lepine, and Wesson did a great job in chapters 11 and 12 explaining the broad universe of teams' characteristics, diversity, and processes. Since our course has a special focus on groups in the global workplace, I want to take this moment to focus on expatriates and international teams. A good place to look for relevant articles in this area are the international journals, such as International Studies of Management and Organization. I found one that adds value to the textbook readings and even has applicability to this week's case of a dysfunctional team. I'd like to share it with you. It's Angelika Zimmerman and Paul Sparrow's article on mutual adjustment processes in international teams. Several years ago, they took a year out of their lives and studied 11 teams of 4 combinations of nationalities and developed a model that they believe captures certain team mutual adjustment mechanisms that apply to virtually all international teams. In most organizational behavior readings, they speak of teams as if there is a seamless application of individual and group characteristics and processes. But we've all been on teams, and we know it's not so seamless, and it can be even less so on international teams. It's often conflicted and halting. On the other hand, everyone keeps working to achieve their goals, and so they overcome conflicts and barriers through a continuous mutual adjustment process if the team is going to be successful. And that's what Zimmerman and Sparrow are trying to capture. In the article, they differentiate self-adjustment from mutual adjustment and then explain modes of adjustment and also say what internal and external factors are involved. In the coming slides, I'll provide a thumbnail sketch of their presentation, but I'm going to keep it short, so if any of this interests you, please read the whole article in our library. Conventionally, when researchers described team member adjustments, they spoke of a process where individuals were trying to achieve a fit between their own personality and nationality and the demands of a foreign organization. But this environment doesn't seem to have very many moving parts when described like this. Zimmerman and Sparrow say, not so fast. It's not only any given international employee who's trying to fit in as an expatriate and find her place on the team, but there are also other members of the team, both host nationals and other nationalities, and there is the nationality of the organization itself. It's not inconsequential that an organization has an operation in any given country. So the adjustment process is a very dynamic, three-dimensional one. Alright, this model depicts the mutual adjustment process. Remember, this is a dynamic process, not a static one. So at any given time, on any given day, as someone joins the team, leaves the team, or a new supervisor gets appointed or so forth, things can change. But let's say that in order to read this, let's say that we as individuals are on the left side and others on our international team are on the top of the matrix. Beginning with the upper left quadrant and moving clockwise. In the first quadrant, if our attitude and behavior does not make a successful adjustment to the team, and the team does not adjust to us, then the low situation exists where there is a separation between us. Effective collaboration is virtually impossible. In the second upper right quadrant is the low-high situation where the team has assimilated us to some extent and obtained some value from our contributions, even if we are not fully able to work with others in an optimal way. In the lower right quadrant is the high situation. This is the optimal one, where we've adjusted to team behaviors, processes, and requirements, and they've adjusted to us, and the organization is getting the maximum value from all of us. Finally, in the lower left quadrant is the high-low situation, where the team isn't getting all they can from us, but we have assimilated into the team and understand how to make a contribution within the limits they impose on us by their operating styles and behaviors. Now this model is descriptive. Next I'll begin to describe some of its prescriptive aspects, that is, what are the internal components that can grease the wheel and make the mutual adjustment process all it can be. Zimmerman and Sparrow see the internal components of the mutual adjustment process to be fairly linear. It begins by communication between all team members. The essential subcomponents of this communication are solution seeking, rule, signaling, and relationship building. In turn, this coalesces into a mutual change of views that builds trust and understanding. But it doesn't mean everyone's on the same page or even has to be. In fact, it leads to an evaluation of the differences in points of view. Each team member adjusts then their points of view to assimilate to the most productive and insightful views of others. This doesn't happen easily. Sometimes there is more than one path which might work, and different views as to which road to take are negotiated. In turn, to achieve the changes that were negotiated, there's a certain amount of teaching and controlled behavior on the part of management that's necessary to crystallize and guide towards desired work outcomes. Now, there are external factors that expatriates and international employees must adjust to as well, and vice versa. It's a mutual process once again. First, there is the nationality of the headquarters. This drives work practices, organizational cultures, and often communication styles. Secondly, there is the nationality of the leadership. Often members of one nationality are the formal leaders, and they enjoy more position power. This doesn't mean that other nationalities cannot succeed. It just influences the adjustment and coping mechanisms that should be pursued. Often overlooked is the fact that customers are an unofficial part of the team because their needs and wants drive the nature of products and services delivered. So a mutual adjustment process should accommodate and involve customers. And finally, globalization trends and localization strategies provide additional factors that must be adjusted for. So what are the major takeaways? Well, from this research, we can conclude that team members' skills, attitudes, and behaviors alone do not determine success. Mutual adjustment is necessary for international teams to succeed. And global team leaders must have a complex mix of technical, functional, cultural, social, and political competencies in order to achieve success themselves. This concludes my presentation. Thanks everyone for lending an ear. Good day.